Hello everyone, welcome to Fogg's Cards and Things. We're ready to break boxes and rip packs. But first we need you to subscribe to our channel. Like this video. It lets us know to keep making videos like this. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to me. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, you. Subscribe, like, hit the button so we can get onto the cards. Alright, there you go. Thank you so much. Now let's get ripping. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Fogg's Cards and Things today. We're going to be breaking a box of 1991 Leaf Studio cards today. I haven't seen many of these cards, so you're going to be on this journey with me as we check these out. We won't waste a lot of time. Here's the outside of the box. No pictures of cards that I can see. It says they have puzzle and cards, so we're going to go ahead and open this box and see what we've got. If you have experience with this box, tell me what you thought of it, before we get into it. Like I said, I haven't seen very many of them. I know it has a Rod Carew puzzle. First, we're going to open one pack just to get a look at the cards and see what we have here. These packs might be a little tricky to open. Let's see. So there's our puzzle piece. So we've started already with a Royal. Anybody that knows me knows I'm going to PC that. Brian McGwire. And we have Tony Pena. Good catcher there for the Red Sox. Back just has some personal information, some career information. Also has some hobbies and interests as long as with their hero. So Tony Pena there. Good catcher. Let's see what else we have in this pack here. Brian Harper, Wally Joyner, first baseman for the A's back in '91. Todd Zeal, Mike Scott, Benito Santiago, he was a good catcher. Scotia, manager now. Swindell and Dave Righetti, also a pretty good pitcher at that time. So from now on, we're going to try to open about 3 packs at a time, just so we're not here all day. See who else we can get out of these packs. We'll get the puzzle pieces out of here. I don't really tear down that edge so hot, but we'll be fine. Got 48 packs in here, so this will be a little bit of a longer rip, but we shall see. Hopefully it's worth it and we get some cards that we're looking for from 1991. All right, let's see. Oh, already. Wow. George Brett, actually. I'm gonna pause there. That's probably one of the most PC'd players for me in baseball for sure. George Brett. Heroes were Joe Namath, Brooks Robinson, and Yaz. Well, that's a good-looking card there from 1991 of Mr. George Brett. Wow, that's awesome. We got that second pack. Dwight Evans, Tim McIntosh, Wade Boggs. He'll go down here in our infielders club there. Third baseman, Lundrum, Hammond, Gary Gaetti, Roberto Kelly, good center fielder there for the Yankees. McGwire, Swindell, Scott Sanderson, Mo Vaughn, good first baseman there. Kurt Stillwell for the Royals. Hatcher, Steve Lake. Lee Smith, Hall of Fame pitcher right there. Kirby Puckett, going our outfielders club. Dale Murphy, Hall of Famer. Or if he's not, he should be. Dave Smith, Smiley, Paul O'Neill, Eric Show, Mark Lewis, Edgar Martinez, Frank Tanana, and Kunkel with his bubble gum. I wouldn't mind a few cards with this type of design, but it does seem a bit odd that there's no action shots. I'm guessing in the whole set, but especially for sure so far. But I do think the portraits are neat, especially for some players that you might be after a PC. If there are any players at UPC that you see and it's a card you might want, drop a comment, send us a message. See if we can't work out something to get you that card. Tom Browning, he was a good pitcher there for the Reds. Honeycutt, James Hanson, Fryman, Joe Carter, Julio Franco, Jeff Conine for the Royals, Gomez, Maldonado, Juan Samuel, Ozzie Smith, another one of my top 5 PC players. We definitely like an Ozzie. He's definitely a front row guy for us. Greg Vaughn, Reardon, Brett Saberhagen, pitcher for the Royals. Harold Reynolds. Oh, Frank Thomas. Another good card. We got a second Kirby Puckett here. We've already seen him once. But Frank Thomas will definitely be in our infielders club here. Second time with Kirby, we'll put him to the side. Parrish, Mosby, Mark McGwire. Wow. We're just getting into this and already got quite a few good cards. Also a front row guy there. Got Langston, Todd Zeal again, Earring, Kirk Gibson there for the Royals. Randy Johnson. Wow. Definitely, if you collected around this time, he'll start the Pitchers Club up there. Have some big names here. Lind, Pendleton, Grissom, Bip Roberts. He's a fast player there for the Padres. Wondering, who were your favorite players at the time? Obviously there were some big names that anybody that collected cards was probably after. That's the McGwires, the Ozzies, Frank Thomases, George Brett. More nationally known players at the time, but I always find it interesting if there was someone to your local market that at the time you collected that maybe other people didn't. It was always hard to trade for the cards that everybody wanted. I mean, it was hard to get someone to trade you that Mark McGwire. But if you had some favorites, like Brett Saberhagen was one of them for me when he was with the Royals, that I could trade for him pretty easy. Bly Levin, Hall of Fame pitcher there. Steve Farr. Barry Bonds. Wow. Like I said, we've got a lot of good cards here. Put Barry up there in the outfielders. Eric Davis, great player for the Reds. Gilkey, Anthony Holman, Gullickson, Juan Gonzalez, Glenn Allen Hill. Golly, another one. Well, I'd say as far as the stars go, this series has a lot of them. Candiotti, great pitcher. Vince Coleman, good player for the Mets there. Sid Bream for the Braves at this time. He also played for the Pirates. Darren Dalton, good catcher. George Bell, Leary, Charlie Ho, Ricky Henderson. He was definitely a fast player. A lot of stolen bases. Outfielders club for old Ricky. Tim Rock Raines. That's probably the only time I've seen it together like that. Usually it's either Tim Raines or Rock Raines, but this one had it together. Biff Roberts again. Parrish, Greg Vaughn, Ruben Sierra, Mark Whitten, Steve Sachs, Dave Justice, highly touted player at this time, Mike Fitzgerald. Get some of these commons out of the way. We'll move on to 3 fresh packs. Haven't opened all that many packs, and we've already got a lot of the stars of the time, players that we'd be after. I'm sure we'll start seeing duplicates now. We already have of the Kirby, but we'll see about the others here. These packs don't really rip along the seam all that well. All right, let's see who's in this stack of 3. Jacoby, Burkett, Moises Alou, Candiotti, Vince Coleman, Sid Bream. These are repeats here. George Bell, Leary, Travis Fryman, Steve Avery. We haven't seen him yet. He was a good pitcher. Ben Gladden, Larry Anderson, Brett Butler, good outfielder. Rich Goose Gossage, he was a good pitcher at the time. Mariano Duncan for the Reds. Dave Henderson. Glenn Allen Hill, second time we've seen him. Second Griffey we've seen. Rob Deere, Barfield, Fernandez. Tony Gwynn, Hall of Famer. We'll put him in the Outfielders Club. Dwight Gooden. Dwight Doc Gooden. Definitely collected him. Some Blyleven, second time we've seen him. John Franco. Let's see, we'll get him out of there. Steve Farr. All right. Yeah, I haven't checked if what the puzzle looked like. It'd be interesting to see what the puzzle was like in this set. Actually, I think it shows it on the back of the puzzle piece. We'll take a look at it, see if we can't see that. Actually, that one didn't have it. This one does. Let's see if I can zoom in on that for you a little bit. So that's the Rod Carew puzzle, what it's going to look like. Each little puzzle piece has 3. Gary Sheffield, put him on the infielders club there. All right, nearing Andy Van Slyke. Chris Sabo, without his signature goggles. Dave Winfield, good player. Scott Sanderson, Bobby Thigpen. Jeffries. Dave Justice, second time we've seen him. Willie McGee. Brian McRae, second time we've seen him for the Royals. Tino Martinez, who's a good first baseman for the Mariners. Paul O'Neill, Mulholland, Devin White. Darryl Strawberry, put him in the Outfielders Club. BJ, Thatcher, Welch, Witten. Harold Reynolds, good second baseman for the Mariners. Alan Trammell, Hall of Famer there. Turner Ward, Nolan Ryan. Those first few packs just seem to be loaded. Put Nolan up there in the Pitchers Club. Trammell's a Hall of Famer. All right, probably a third of the way through. Like I said, we've seen a lot of the players we're after already. So as far as that goes, not a bad set to go through. Break the packs down. But other than nostalgia value, I mean, these cards don't have any real value. If you were to send some out to be graded, that'd be one thing maybe. I'll point it out on some of the cards we get if we get some more of the Hall of Famers or highly collected people, and I'll show you sort of some of the things that will stop it from grading high. So, Oral Hershiser, love to collect him, but if you'll notice, the borders, that's off center left to right. These ones are a little hard to tell on the top to bottom, but probably pretty close there. Then you have to look at the back. This one's off center as well to the right on the back. So that would stop that one, from grading out of a 10. If they're not going to grade a 10, it's not worth it to grade them. Tony Gwynn, only their possibilities of a 10 might be worth it. Frank Piola, Black and Decker. Got 2 people there. Bud Black, Steve Decker. Bud Black used to be a pitcher for the Royals back in the 80s. Jack McDowell, good pitcher. Brian Harper. Well, again, he's kind of got that smelting smile there. Tanana. Dave Stewart, McCaskill, BJ. Warren Cromartie for the Royals. Hoyles, Chamberlain, Andre Dawson, Jack Clark. Jim Abbott. Barfield, Fernandez. Yeah, if you still haven't subscribed to the channel, I hope you consider doing that. Definitely helps us keep making the videos. If you're interested in the cards, we do have a Discord where we put them there before we Put them on eBay. Also consider that too. What would you like the giveaway to be? Any of the cards in here can be given away. Gary Scott, Kevin McReynolds, Matt Williams, Mike Scott, Van Slyke, McDonald, Hammaker, Barry Larkin, Roger McDowell, Steve, Kent, Olson, Mickey Tettleton, good catcher there for the Tigers, Eric Show, Kevin McReynolds, Matt Williams, Van Slyke. Ryan Sandberg. We have not seen Ryan yet. Definitely goes to the infielders club. But even on this one, you can tell how much off-center that card is. Nolan for the second time. Kurt Schilling. Thrown there for the Astros. We can put him up there in the pitchers club. John Smiley, Treadway, Tim Wallen. Ed Whitson, Wally Joyner for the second time, Gary Sheffield for the second time, Mr. Bubblegum again. Definitely starting to see some duplicates pop out, but as we get halfway into this box, it's bound to happen, especially for this era when they made so many cards. I didn't look at, I think it's 48 packs in a box, so there are definitely a lot to give away. Paul O'Neill, Mulholland, Devin White, Darryl Strawberry for the second time, Todd Zeal, Nearing, Kirk Gibson for the Royals, Randy Johnson, second time we've seen Randy. Jose Lind, Terry Pendleton, Andy Barnes. Barry Bonds for the second time. Eric Davis, Gilkey, Eric Anthony, Brian Holman, Lance Dixon, Warren Cromartie for the Royals again. Hoyles, Chamberlain, Andre Dawson, good outfielder for the Cubs at the time. Will Clark, Hall of Famer. Calderon, Langford, Ken Caminiti, good player. Griffey Sr. there. And Cecil Fielder. Put him on the infielders club there. Yeah, as we reach the halfway point, we certainly appreciate you stopping by. If you've been here this long, please like the video. Let us know you're enjoying this type of content and that we should keep ripping packs and breaking boxes. Costs you nothing, but means the world to us for sure. Otherwise, you never know if the videos are just sitting out there in the internet somewhere. No one's seeing them. All right, Honeycutt, Chris James, Hanson, Travis Fryman, Joe Carter, left fielder for the Blue Jays. Good player there. Julio Franco, Jeff Conine for the Royals. Gomez, Candy Maldonado again. Ellis Burks, Murray, Will Clark, Calderon, Sparky Anderson. He was a longtime coach there for the Detroit Tigers on the checklist here. Paul Molitor, Hall of Fame designated hitter. Good player. John Franco, Lenny Dykstra, Bosky, Jay Bell, Jeff Conine again. Gomez, Candy, Ellis. A lot of these cards definitely starting to see some repeats there. Might have been a whole repeat pack. Had the Sparky and the Molitor. All right, let's see what this stack has to bring. Langford, Caminiti again, Senior, Cecil Fielder, Cecil or Cecil? George Brett for the second time. Evans, McIntosh, Wade Boggs for the second time. Landrum, Jeffries, McGee, Dale Murphy, second time for Dale. Mookie Wilson, Greg Olson, Mickey Tettleton, Eric Show, Kevin McReynolds, Ron Robinson. Interesting to see some of their poses here. Just looking at the camera. Like I said, it's definitely an interesting set. Doesn't feature any action shots, just players posing in a studio. I mean, that's the name of the set, I guess, is Studio 91. So, I've never seen a complete set that's made that way. Got those commons out of the way. Got about a third of the box left, probably. See if we can get some more of our star players here. Wonder if there's anybody we're missing. Is there anybody we haven't hit yet that we'd like to from this era in baseball? A Royal there, Kirk Gibson. McDonald, studio set, so that'd be the first card in the set, I suppose. From Yount, Hall of Famer there. Steve Finley, good pitcher. Lind, Barry Larkin. Mosby, Mark McGwire for a second time. Ruben Sierra, Witten, Steve Sachs, Dave Justice, Fitzgerald, Tim Rock Raines, Kent, Mickey Tettleton, Eric Show, Marquise Grissom, Man Lake, Joe Girardi before his coaching days while he was catching there for the Cubbies. Steve Sachs, Frank Thomas. I don't know if we had a Frank Thomas. I think we did. Ben Popple, Thompson, Kurt Schilling for the second time. Tino Martinez, good first baseman for the Mariners. We're going to get the rest of these out of here, make a little more room. Probably have 4 more stacks of 3, I think. I haven't really been counting along the way. Were any of these players PC'd at the time for you or still PC'd? And the better question is, do you have the 91 Leaf Studio of anyone you PC? We can probably help you get it if you need some. Ellis Burks, Aguilera, Reese, Grain, Deshae, Fernandez. Good pitcher there for the Dodgers. Raymond Martinez, Jacoby Burkett, Earl Hershiser for the second time. Boyd, Roberto Alomar, Darrell Boston, Steve Avery, Dan Gladden, Ricky Jordan, Sean Dunston, good shortstop for the Cubbies. Kirby for the second time. Mosby, Mark McGwire. Third McGwire we've seen. Mark Langston, Franklin Stubbs, Rafael Palmeiro. Heck of a first baseman for the Rangers. Mark Lewis, John Smoltz, good pitcher. And Sampson. The other question is there anybody in here that you disliked because of how well they played against your team? You know, they might have been a good player, but the memories you have are maybe running your team out of the playoffs or striking out your favorite batter. Key moments like that. All right, let's see what this stack here has. Got Stubbs, Palmeiro again, Mark Lewis, John Smoltz again. This might be a repeat pack. Sampson, Sabo again without the goggles. Jose Lind, Jose Opferman, who's a good shortstop for the Dodgers. Hammaker, Barry Larkin again. Roger McDowell, Looks like he can be ready for a tennis match. Steve, Samuel, Ozzy for the second time. Reardon, Brett Saberhagen, good Royals pitcher. Harold Reynolds, Frank Thomas, definitely at least the second or third time we've seen Frank. Couldn't remember last time we saw him. Diamond Don Mattingly, Infielders Club for sure. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, he should be. Diamond Don, Rigetti, Thigpen, Jack Morris, Lou Whitaker, Bob Welch, and Joe Girardi. All right, 1, 2, 3. We'll do 2 this time, and then we'll have 2 more sets of 3 left. Coming to the end of these packs. Like I said, with the mass production of every single player in card, the good thing is you get a lot of doubles of the players you're after. They end up with a lot of duplicates of players you don't as well. Belcher, Mike Boddicker for the Royals. Might be the first time we've seen him. Carlton Fisk, good catcher there for the White Sox. Jose Canseco, there's one we hadn't seen that we would definitely miss if we didn't get. But even on the Canseco, you can tell the centering is just so bad. Never would grade out of 10. But still a neat card to have. Sandy Alomar, Gorels, Chuck Finley, good pitcher there for the Angels. Hudler, Biggio, Joe Carter, Calderon, Sparky again, Paul Molitor again, John Franco, Lenny Dykstra, Bosky, Jabel, Browning. All right, 2 more sets of 3 here. Give a little recap at the end of who we got. And I'm sure one of you can drop a comment and let us know who we didn't get. Sometimes in the moment it's hard to remember, especially as many packs as we open, who we've seen and who we haven't seen. All right, Moises Alou, Candiani, Vince Coleman, Sid Bream, Darren Dalton, George Bell, Leary, Ho, Ricky Henderson. I do know we've seen Ricky. Still a cool card. Love Ricky Henderson. Honeycutt, Cromartie for the Royals. We've seen him quite a few times. Hoyles, Chamberlain, Andre Dawson. Good outfielder for the Cubs. Julio Franco, good infielder for the Rangers. There's Lasorda on the checklist. Caminiti, Senior again. Cecil again. George Brett. Awesome to have a few of him. Dwight Evans, McIntosh, Wade Boggs. I know we've seen Wade. And Bill Lundrum, pitcher for the Pirates. Got a puzzle piece. 2 more packs to open, and then we wrap this thing up here. Doug Drabeck with the over-the-shoulder look there. Oh, I like it. Definitely interesting to see some of their pictures. Dave Henderson. Glenn Allen Hill. King Griffey again. It's a good one to have another card of. Rob Deere, Belcher. Mike Boddicker with the Royals. Glenn Davis, Jack Clark, Santiago, Chris Sabo. Studio Stark card again. Jose Offerman. Mark Grace, first baseman for the Cubs. Hojo, shortstop for the Mets at that time. Kevin Mitchell, Kyle, Slot, Williams, Scott, Van Slyke, Tim Rock Reigns again. Robin Yount, good Hall of Famer. Bobby Witt, pretty famous father at this time. Got a good Royal. Steve, Samuel, and Ozzy. All right, we'll do a quick little repeat. We won't go through all the Royals that I pulled out, but we'll do our pitchers, our outfielders, our infielders, and then we'll do our front row mojos. We got a Smoltz, Schilling, Oral Hershiser, Nolan Ryan, Dwight Doc Gooden, Rich Goose Gossage, Randy Johnson, Daryl Strawberry, Tony Gwynn, Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, Dale Murphy, Kirby Puckett, infield Don Mattingly, Frank Thomas, Cecil Fielder, Ryan Sandberg, Gary Sheffield, Frank Thomas again, we did have him already, Mo Vaughn, Wade Boggs. Of course, we had a few Ozzie Smiths, a few Mark McGwires, one Jose Canseco, although it's off center, a couple Griffies, and my favorite there, 3 George Bretts. Thanks for spending some time with us. Hope you enjoyed seeing the cards as much as we did, reliving some of our youth times ripping packs. Hope you tune in next time, and as always, God bless.